The most important skill in the 21st century is the ability to live happily with uncertainty.
Yeah. Do you know what's going on? I mean, millions of people tune in to listen to you to try to figure out what's going on, and you still don't know what's going on. So if you and I can't figure it out, I think we're all pretty... It is interesting that as access to information scales, the certainty and the confidence around that information dissipates. Everybody feels less moored to reality than ever before, despite the fact that we have access to everything 24/7, which is a very weird paradox. But I think there's a deep human instinct to seek out certainty, to find a certain set of beliefs and assumptions that you can hang your hat on and build your life around. And I think it's becoming harder than it's ever been before. And I think as a result, developing kind of the cognitive flexibility to live in ambiguity is probably more important than it's ever been.
What happens if you can't deal with uncertainty?
Then you will over-index on one single belief. You'll become radical about one idea. You'll basically put all of your emotional well-being into a single concept or a single worldview. And the danger of that is just that any worldview is going to get blown up at a certain point. Nothing survives contact with reality. So when that worldview gets contradicted, you're either going to suffer immensely or you're going to have to double down the delusion to maintain the certainty.
Anxiety is all about uncertainty. It's about trying to compress uncertainty down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen in future. If I can imagine all of the different ways that the future might unfold, especially the really bad one, I'll be able to plan and war game. And that means that when it happens, I'll be ready. It's a really strange comment on how humans' brains work, that we would rather imagine a catastrophe than deal with uncertainty. You think about it as thinking in superpositions. Right? People would rather collapse the superposition down into something that maybe even breaks the laws of physics. Your dead grandma comes back from the grave to tell you off for this thing. There's entire supernatural shit's going on. That's what you would rather have in your mind. I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. It's interesting to what you described about anxiety, that kind of treadmill that you get on, trying to predict future outcomes. In the process of trying to become certain about what's going to happen, you actually just inadvertently build more surface area for more uncertainty. Everything you try to project into the future, you just create more opportunities for that to be wrong.
Yes.
An antidote to this, it's more of like an aperture issue. Instead of trying to be certain about very specific, small, narrow things, it's better to try to zoom out till you find a place of confidence. Just take like AI, for instance, right? Everybody's freaking out about it. Some people think the world's going to end. Some people think that everybody's going to lose their jobs. Some people think like China's going to take over everything. I have no idea if any of those things are true, but like if I zoom out broadly enough and you just look at every major technological revolution throughout human history, there is disruption, there is some displacement, but like society adapts and moves on. So if I zoom out to that wide of an aperture, suddenly I feel some degree of certainty that we're going to be okay in the macro.
It's a kind of fragility to need a lot of certainty, because what you're saying is, I can't deal with something that I can't anticipate. I don't have enough robustness in my system. If something happens that I haven't planned for, the only way that I can survive the future is if I've already prepared for it. And that's the opposite of robustness. Look at COVID. Everybody's lives during COVID basically forked into one of two directions. People either went way off the rails or people's lives got stupendously better.
Right.
But that's it. There wasn't really anyone that was like, COVID was okay.
It was fine.
That was like a lifestyle Rorschach test that everybody took.
So one of my fans recently asked me a question about confidence and about people who seem self-assured in every situation. And it's interesting because when you hear a lot of confidence advice, you hear you need to fail at something a certain amount of times and you need to build evidence that you're capable of handling setbacks and obstacles and all these things. I think confidence actually operates on two different dimensions. There's like state confidence and trait confidence, right? You can put yourself in situations where you feel some degree of certainty, but there is a broader trait confidence of just living enough of your life in that uncertainty, being in enough situations where you felt out of control, but things turned out fine. I don't think you can plan or predict for it. It's like almost by definition, you have to live through things not going as planned to build that like deeper level, trait level confidence.
The worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. It's like difficulty exposure therapy. Oh, I've been here before and I didn't die. That means I can probably be there again and things will go okay. But if you haven't been there before and it happens, if a pandemic comes along again, everybody, apart from 5-year-olds, are prepared.
Yeah.
Way more. Oh, okay, I understand what's going to happen here.